Yeah, I used to roll backwoods, Rick the Dawn's good wherever he goes. 1 million and one flows, depositing dough. Said you down with the mafia family, let me know. Yeah, number one, I don't do number two. They watching how I do because I'm really hood. Red hoodie, gold jewelry, too groovy, might lose me. Don't approach with the foolery. Keep the two on me, homie. You don't know me, Rick the Dawn, the one and only. Yeah. Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. And today, you know I had to talk about this. We're going to talk about the metaverse. The metaverse. I want some royalties. I'm going to tell you what happened. And I'm not lying when I say this. Me and my wife was in the car talking about this idea. And I'm not going to go into the idea because the metaverse doesn't quite take all of it. But I feel like the metaverse took about 70%. Now, I'm not sure if you believe this, but I'm of the belief that at some point in time, some of these websites, they be listening to your conversation. I mean, how many of you, when you click those terms and conditions, actually read everything that it says? Me and my wife was talking in our car about this idea that is very similar to the metaverse. And I won't go into details, but just 2 days later, I mean, literally 2 days later, the metaverse was announced. Now, you know what? Normally I would say, all right, it's a pretty cool idea. It's a coincidence, but it's funny. I've been drilled. How many commercials have you seen about the metaverse? I've been drilled. I mean, just snowballed with all these metaverse plugs, and I've never seen the metaverse. So it made me feel like, did they just like hear my conversation, take my idea, and they're playing catch up to make it a possibility? Or am I just tripping? I'm tripping. All right, cool. But the point is, listen, let's talk about the metaverse, what it is, what it represents. Will I be engaging in that particular metaverse? We're going to touch on all that. First off, the metaverse is, if I'm not mistaken, because I haven't done much research on it, if I might be honest, I usually just kind of roll my eyes every single time that I get a metaverse, video on my feed or something like that, because they just nonstop. But if I'm not mistaken, the metaverse is a alternative universe in which you can meet people, talk with people in suspended animation. It is a world that is only real in the realm of technology. That's what I believe that the metaverse is. If we're talking about the pros and cons of the metaverse, let's start with the positives. First off, fun. A great social experiment or a place where you can be someone other than yourself. Sounds like fun, right? But let's talk about the negatives, the cons. Well, obviously, when you're in the metaverse, I'm assuming that you will have to wear some type of device over your eyes, some kind of virtual reality device. I'm not with that necessarily. All right. Here's what's going to happen. And I've seen a couple videos that support what I'm about to say. I saw this one guy who had this headset on, and he was lying down in this swimming pool as if it was his bed. And the caption underneath the video was, "My bed is better than yours," or "My virtual bed is better than yours." And I couldn't help but think to myself, yo, this guy's an idiot. And I wasn't supposed to share that out loud, because I say stuff like that in my head all the time and nobody ever hears it, so I can be as disrespectful as that. But I'll just be very transparent in saying, I thought this guy was an idiot. I'm like, wait a minute. My biggest issue with the metaverse, and I'm not going to sound, I'm trying not to sound like that old fart who is out of his era. I'm trying not to be that guy. But my issue with the metaverse is that it will make people productive, but also unproductive at the exact same time. What I mean by that is, the gentleman that I just told you about, he had this amazing bed, this full-size, king-size bed, California king bed in the virtual world. And in reality, he was sitting in a swimming pool, like one of those little kid blue rubber swimming pools, empty, no water. So that's my problem with the metaverse. It will most likely manipulate some minds where people will invest more time in this virtual version of themselves while their actual lives are in disrepair. And that is a concern for me, especially for my children, because I, I've seen today's child. They are already hypnotized with just YouTube and their IGs and social media accounts. Can you imagine what will happen to their mind if they're immersed into a fake world where there are no consequences? Man, that sounds so fun. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, snap out of it. No, it's not gonna work, because that'll be amazing. You can create this avatar of yourself and you can do whatever you want. You can jump off a building. You can, I mean, this stuff is crazy. The possibilities. Rob a bank, have frivolous fun, and have no consequences. But obviously, in doing such, you would not be doing anything at all. You want to know the interesting thing about the metaverse and doing anything that involves technology? It makes you lazy. It makes you inanimate. You don't do anything. I'll give you an example. I want you to imagine yourself looking at your phone, right? And you're scrolling, going through your IG feed, your Twitter feed, or whatever. You're scrolling. Now I want you to freeze. I want you to just pause, just freeze with your phone in your hand, okay? Just freeze. Now, imagine that myself, Rick the Dawn, while you're frozen, comes up to you and takes the phone out of your hand, right? And then I press play, and you're just doing this with your hand, just tapping buttons and scrolling. You're not doing anything at all. That is terrifying to me. That's the terrifying part for me. Already, when you're using this technology, you're not doing anything. Your mind is engaged. That's great. But we already know that the world doesn't exist in your mind. And I'll give you an example of that. How many times have you been young and it's the weekend or even the summer right before school starts, and you envision coming in, with your theme music as soon as you walk through the school doors? I'll be feeling like the man when I walk through, and all the girls like, hey, in slow motion. And you walk up to a girl, or if you're a girl, you walk up to a guy, and they just fall in love. How many times have you done that to yourself for like a job interview or something like that? You imagine it being perfect, and then when you actually get there, it's like, oh, look at him. He like, you know what I'm saying? That's the problem when you live in your brain. The metaverse is telling you that that's okay, and perhaps it may be. But the issue is, in reality, that's where the real world exists. It's funny because we're hyping up a fake world when we already live in a real world. That's freaking awesome. Okay, it's amazing what we can already do in the real world. It's very similar to drugs. It's like people take drugs to dumb themselves down. But the ironic twist in that is, if we were always drunk, we would actually take drugs to make us sober so that we can look and see things the way they are very clearly. So it's a weird dynamic there. But the same exists with the metaverse. People will be suspended in animation, not moving, no motion at all. And I'm not sure I'm okay with that. All right. I don't want to be in my bedroom punching something, having a virtual fight, or doing a virtual run in place when the real world is passing me by. That is my biggest fear. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. I'm not sure that the people who create the metaverse, I'm not sure that they will engage with the metaverse like some people will. I believe that they're gonna promote it to everybody else. And in reality, they're going to be raking up the dough and going to buy real world things. And I can't wait for the videos to come out, because they're coming. I can't wait for people to come and put these videos together while they're breaking into people's houses, while they're fully immersed in a fake world. Nothing would make a criminal happier than to walk in somebody's house and, maybe trip over something and freak out as if they're going to be caught. And then lift their head up and the person is jamming on the couch with a VR set over their eyes and headphones over their ears and just completely not paying attention. Like, come on. That is a robber's paradise. And that's one of my concerns. The immersion might just be over the top. Now, is there a way to enjoy the metaverse responsibly? I have no clue. But I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. Because when have you or myself exhibited that level of self-control? If so, if it were possible, I'll be at least 20 or 30 pounds lighter. But there's a reason I'm not, because I don't have that kind of self-control. If it's there and I can actually access it, I'm usually going to do so. So that's my concern when it comes to the metaverse. I just feel like it's over immersion. And might I just throw in this little wrinkle? We already have a metaverse. You want to know what it's called? It's called the internet. Like, every time I hear the metaverse, I always laugh. I'm like, do people not already know we already have a metaverse? Think about it. Your IG, that's not really you. Most likely